Hello friends, it is Tuesday morning, October 4th. I don't know why it looked like your reflection is on my phone. Um, it is 8 o'clock. I had 20 after 8. I had a no-show this morning for my first session, so I thought, let's make a vlogtober video. Let's get a little bit ahead. Come on, Chrissy, you can do this. So I've been completely enamored with the not deck conversations, what is she calling it? Deck dialogues that Mindful Tarot is doing. She's starting a study of tarot that she's leading, I believe, on her Facebook page from next week to New Year's Eve. And I wish I had the emotional bandwidth for it right now, but I don't. I so enjoy her knowledge and her conversational style with her decks. And so she's been doing these deck dialogues to help her decide which deck she's going to do this deep dive into for the remainder of the year. And I thought I would look at doing something similar for my reading today. I had something to say, like words were coming out of my mouth, and then I felt them just like stop and shrivel up. So I guess they weren't important. So I'm going to do a conversation between several different decks. It's the way that my reading typically flows every morning. I've always for the past several years, I've done a 3-card draw every morning. For the most part, it's just been a deck or two, but now for October, I'm doing 3 decks, at least for now. We'll see. Things always shape up. I'm playing with 3, and I really like it. So 3 decks in a book. So the book that I'm starting with is the Book of Daily Thoughts and Prayers by Swami Paramananda. This was a recommendation from Meg at Rose Honey Ritual. I am using the Death Doula Oracle. This deck I've talked about it so much lately. It's reading me to beautiful filth. So I'm using this deck. I am using, I'm gonna back up. So I have like my daily thought for the day comes from, like the theme of the day comes from Daily Thoughts and Prayers, to which then just a general overall energy, overall way that I can respond to that comes from the Death Doula. Then I use my deck, the Narrative Alchemy Tarot, to allow my higher self, my intuition, to speak to me. And then I am using the Pamela Coleman Smith, all kinds of stuff in there. My Pamela Coleman Smith, a version of the Rider-Waite-Smith. It's the one with these backs, for God to speak to me. So I have my question from Book of Daily Thoughts and Prayers, the energy that I'm invited to bring into that from the Death Doula, the wisdom from my higher self from the Narrative Alchemy Tarot, and the wisdom from God in the Pamela Coleman Smith. So I got actually a little bit into this before I decided to record this video, before my 8 o'clock didn't show up, while I was waiting for my 8 o'clock appointment to show up. And I'm using the Oracle card from Sincerely the Tarot this month as my bookmark. But from the reading today, the question that I came up with is, the reading is about love, and about how we, it's very Two of Pentacles, about how we look at the long term, like the long term. How did he phrase this? Did I just totally make this up? The wise prefer the good to the pleasant. There it was. So looking at not just valuing our immediate response, but our the immediate and the long term when it comes to making choices. And And out of the prayer for today comes, may I learn to fasten my little life to your great eternal life. And I, somehow when I read this for myself, I read love instead of life. So, so my little question for today under my Reiki precepts is, how do I merge my little love with your big love? And that kind of bounces off the off my card for the month, the Six of Swords, where I'm playing with looking at myself in that card as the helper, not always the one being helped. So merging my little love with the big love of Source. And we're just going to go through a card or two, who knows how many in each deck, in a similar deck dialogue fashion that Mindful Tarot does. And my intention will be to just go back and rewatch this video to make my notes for my journal. So my question for the Death Duo Oracle that I just bent all to pieces. I mean, I didn't crease them, but I got a little excited on a few of the cards. Okay. How do I merge my little love with your big love? And as I shuffle, I breathe my breath from my heart, from my lungs, down through my body, through my seat, to the core of the earth, wrapping around that energy, bringing it back up into my heart, sending that energy, that grounded energy from my heart up, up, up to God. As God takes this energy, hugs it, maybe even ties it around their waist, and then sends it back down to me. I receive it in my body and my heart. And with the next exhale, I send the energy from both the earth and Source into my hands, knowing that the magic of the cards rest in my hands. I do not need to do this practice between each deck. The magic is in my hands. So again, I ask the question, how do I merge my little love with your big love? This is not the first one to receive this card. This is from the Ashes. So I think of this card as having this similar energy as the Star, looking at what has already burned, what has already collapsed, and looking at my past experience, holding my past experience with just as much, just as richly as I hold the future, to place just as much, to not reject my past, to not reject the lessons that I've learned, to not reject my idea of you, to hold all of that as I develop what is next. So feeling the weight and the importance of where I've come from, and looking toward the future. So really holding my past experience, and being able to be aware of what has burned away and hold on tightly to what remains. Do I have that right? So from the Ashes, I let what no longer fits burn away, and I hold tightly to the pieces of what, the pieces that remain. Am I understanding correctly what that is, how I can best show up in love? and I have fear. So acknowledging that when I hold on to, when I hold my path with importance, I can be maybe a little too aware of what I am, of repeating what of some of the hard times being repeated. So acknowledging that I will be afraid, but to not let the fear prevent me from showing love, from being open, from holding tight to both what still resonates from my past and going forward. So when I see, so in this fear card, it's almost like the we're stepping over the precipice into the dust and the dirt. So I see this as yes, this is the step that I'm supposed to take, even though the card is fear. The imagery is like, yeah, Chrissy, you're on it. That's the step you're taking. So stepping into the ashes, into the things that are dry and crunchy. All right, so going now to my deck, to the Narrative Alchemy Tarot. What insight does my higher self, does my intuition, the deep part of me that belongs to me, the essence of me that lives deep in my chest, underneath my sternum, where my Purusa, my inner light, lives. What wisdom, what questions, what insight do you have for how I merge my love with the love of my God? This deck is just such a beautiful shuffle. So from my inner self, from my intuition, the way that I merge my love with God's, it's protection. So I see this as an encouragement that I will be protected. That when I align myself, I'm talking to God at this point, okay? So that when I align myself with you, that no long-term, life-ending harm can come to me. That things, this is protection. This is not ease. This is not, floating along. This is, there are going to be times when things are hard, when things are challenging. But I'm seeing this as my inner self, knowing that I will be protected, that I have the resources I need to figure things out, that I don't have to worry. We have this red is root chakra here, that I don't have to worry about my ability to have housing and to eat and to lose love that's important to me. So I'm reading this as my inner self feels a sense of stability, not in, this is what's so hard for me, not stability in situation, but stability in self to handle whatever instability may arise, and to trust that I know deep down that I am protected by something larger than me. So, inner self, is that what you're telling me? I have confidence, yes. Yes, I can be confident in feeling protected by source and myself as I do, as I examine, as I figure out, um, define in a new way how love shows up in my life and how I present love to the world and how I can feel the presence of God in those efforts. So, my past experience is important, even though it's scary, even though addressing past things may bring them, maybe triggering. I still bring them with me. My inner self knows that I am protected and I am confident in this. Now moving toward what wisdom God has to offer me today. So my inner self is telling me to be confident in that no harm will come to me. And now this is the invitation from Source to show up. How do I merge my little love with your big love? I have Ace of Cups. I see this as a willingness to feel new emotions, a willingness to hold things that are new and uncomfortable. Is that as things, as birds bring messages, as the water, as the emotion falls over and around and through me. If we see the hand, like the water is flowing from the cup through the hand to underneath. So I see this as an invitation to be curious to new emotions, to not feel like every emotion is mine forever, that I'm kind of trying things on. That I can let new emotions, new ideas, new connections, I can try them on without feeling like I have to commit to anything right away during this time of exploration. So is that what you were trying to tell me? That I can experience new things, but also feel free to let them flow through my hands if they're not necessarily something that I need to hold in the cup. The card I have is a Three of Cups. So yes, I see this as also an invitation to bring community into this, that this is not something I have to do alone. This came up, I believe, in my chakra reading the other day, that this is to me, I see this as, and that this process, it is safe for me to share this process with other people, that I don't have to keep it to myself, that no harm will come to me by sharing this process, and that by sharing this process is how I show big love and my little love. That by my searching and my sharing, that I am not only sharing love from Source with others, or sharing Source's love for me with others, but also helping others connect to the love from around to Source. Is that what you're trying to tell me? Just one more little clarifier, just to make sure I'm getting it right. We have the Hierophant. Which is perfect because I read the Hierophant as it's just brought the whole reading for full circle. I read the Hierophant very similar as in the From the Ashes and the Fear that we had in the Death Doula, being able to question everything and to create my own path, my own truth, my own knowledge, and to be my own guru. So this just, I feel like this is just a confirmation, bring it right back to the From the Ashes, figuring out, holding on to what continues to resonate and letting go of the rest. I feel like this was the goodbye card. This was we're back at the beginning. So I'll see you tomorrow. This was fun. I really enjoy this dialogue style. This is more, in a lot of ways, this is more my personal style of reading, although I do enjoy spreads. I have conversations for a living, and this feels very true and valid. So thank you for sharing this with me. This was an extension of my daily practice. Typically I would choose one card from each deck and see how they talk together. But I really enjoyed having a conversation with each deck on my way through. So this was fun. I hope you enjoyed this. Yeah. Thanks for hanging around around Vlogtober, and I'll see you here soon.